Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. We're excited that you're here. My name is Sarah Ellis, and I'm the commercial lead for Digital Ag Solutions, and I'll be hosting today's webinar along with Starla Hicks, our lovely training lead at Syngenta Digital, who will be presenting today on CropWise sustainability and the sustainability app. Before we get started, just wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. Everyone is in listen only, so you are muted by default, but we would like to keep this interactive, so feel free to post a question in the chat below for our Q&A session. We'll have plenty of time for questions at the end of the meeting. Today's webinar is being offered to our AgriReg growers across the country to provide an update, and for some of you, a first look at our CropWise sustainability app. Starla will walk us through the basics of CropWise sustainability and then share with the group how to get started with the tool. Like I said, we'll have plenty of time for a Q&A, so please don't hesitate to pop in some questions in the chat below. We also have a QR code where you can scan and download the app so you're ready for when Starla walks us through the sustainability app. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Starla. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. So let's go ahead and get started. The CropWise platform provides solutions for ESG and regenerative agriculture reporting. Growers can demonstrate sustainability through the Sustainable Outcomes in Agriculture Standard, also known as the SOA assessment. So with the SOA assessment, it is an app-based assessment powered by CropWise Sustainability and can be completed within the CropWise Sustainability app. The app is available for download for both iOS and Android devices. There are several components within the SOA assessment where questions are categorized. These questions allow growers to validate their sustainable practices on their farms, as well as discover areas to improve their farm with their sustainable practices based on the outcomes of the questions in each section. So each section, after completing the questions, a rating will be provided for the grower based on their answers. So those ratings you can see here at the top of the screen are essential, basic, medium, or high. As you can see here on the screen, some of the components of the SOA assessment include soil health, water impact, biodiversity and habitat, and community leadership. Users will complete the SOA assessment in the CropWise Sustainability app, which is a free, easy-to-use app that's supported by Syngenta Digital. Here you can see the layout of the app, the farm level setup, the intuitive yes or no questions, as well as that rating that each grower will be presented with after completing a section. We also have our support information available in the app, as well as a feedback section that I will highlight later on in the demo. So with that, I'll go ahead and walk through the sustainability app and demonstrate that. So let me pull that up here. Perfect. So upon downloading the app, you will be asked to either log in or create your CropWise account. If you, as a user, have been utilizing other CropWise tools, whether it be CropWise Financials, CropWise Protector, or CropWise Imagery, you can just log in. So your CropWise user account flows through each tool. If you haven't had the opportunity to create your CropWise user account or jump into a tool just yet, no worries. You're able to create your user account from this page as well. I'll go ahead and log in. enter the password and hit sign in. Once signing in, the first thing a user will do is be greeted with our welcome page, and then they'll need to move on to define their operation. So to define your operation and get started, we'll go ahead and click that green button located at the bottom of the screen. So first, the user will select their primary crop, and this is the crop that they will be completing the assessment for. I'll go ahead and click potato, and then next, and then you'll enter in the number of acres of potato that you're growing. So I'll go ahead and enter in 2,000 here. And then it's going to ask, where are you growing? So this is where you will either you'll enter your address just so we can get that farm location and be able to group you in your area with reporting later on. So if I go ahead and click select address, there's two options. You can either manually enter the address here, going line by line, or we have the option to select your location on the map. If I click select location on the map, you'll see, well, it will take me to my geolocation. I'll hit confirm at the bottom of the screen, and then that address is now populated. If I click add address, you'll see where it takes me back to that first page where I can then confirm the acres and the address that I've just entered. If all of that looks correct, you can click next. And then this is where the user will enter in additional acres on their operation. So if they're also growing 2,000 acres of corn, 2,000 acres of soybean, and 1,000 acres of wheat, under additional acres, they will enter in 5,000 acres. So it's not the number of acres per crop, it's the number of additional acres total. So you just add them together. And then you can see here where the app adds that 5,000 acres to the 2,000 acres of potato we've entered previously, and then you get the whole farm area. So we'll go ahead and click next to continue on. And there's just a few questions that we'll need to answer. So one, select your irrigation usage. Is your operation irrigated or rain fed? Do you have hired help on your farm? Yes or no? And then on this page, the partners page, is where you will enter in your partner if you're working with a sustainability partner. We are aware that some of our growers partner with processors, and then they require some assessment, a sustainability assessment. And then this is where you can actually link up to your partner or the processor, and you'd be able to submit your assessment to them through this app. So you could either enter your partner here. We'll do demo partner. You can see where it's dropped down in that list, and I'm able to select it. But the good news is that if you're not working with a processor and you just want to check out how you rank or where you fall depending on your sustainable practices on your operation and where you can improve, you can select I'm currently not working with a partner. That's not a requirement to fill out the assessment. Anyone is welcome to do so. And to do that, you would just click that checkbox and then click next. So that finishes up completing the farm setup. So it shows us the outcomes, and this is what we will essentially answer questions about in the upcoming assessment. So carbon management, biodiversity and habitat, community leadership, water impact, those categories that I've mentioned previously. So we'll go ahead and click done. And it says, thank you for completing the information on your operation. Let's get started. So to get started with the SOA assessment, we'll click the green Get Started button located at the bottom of the screen. You can see here where those different segments populate as tiles on the screen. And up at the very top is where you can track your progress. So right now it shows where I have 0 out of 135 questions completed. So I know that that seems pretty intimidating, 135 questions, but the good news is they're yes or no questions. So they're relatively quick to get answered. And even better news, you don't have to complete the assessment in one sit down session. It tracks your progress as you go. So you can do it, answer a couple of questions, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, answer some tomorrow or next week. It tracks your progress and there's no loss of information. So I'll go ahead and walk through a few of these questions just to show you how it does track your progress. So we'll open up biodiversity and habitat, and then you can see where there's 2 different sections in that segment, 3 questions each. So I'll go ahead and enter in habitat quality. And then you can see where I have those 3 yes or no questions. So I won't read these just for sake of time. I'll go through and I'll answer them and then hit next. And then you can see where you get an immediate response and your ranking as soon as you complete that section. So you can see right now where I've ranked high. I can either continue or I can go back to the activities page with that list of sections. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue, and it will take me to the next question set. So you can see here we're looking at pollinator management. I'll go ahead and answer these questions a little differently this time. And then you can see where I still ranked high. You can see your response and then you review your answers. Again, I can click continue. And then if you look at the top of the screen, you see where we're no longer in biodiversity and habitat. It's moved us into the next section of carbon management. So I just wanted to show you and demo how you don't have to click save as you go. It automatically saves your responses. And you don't have to back out of each section, scroll down and enter a section. That's just a lot of clicks. And we really wanted to make the app as efficient and as seamless as possible for the user. So you can just click continue and it will automatically pull you into the next question set. I'll go ahead and answer just a few of these questions. And then I'll stop here in the middle and click back. So when I click back, you can see where it will take me back to the activities page, where now I've answered 8 out of 135 questions. You can see on the carbon management tile where I have 2 out of 3 of the questions answered. So that circle is partially filled in. And you may be asking yourself, well, I thought we answered biodiversity and habitat questions. Where did that tile go? If you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, you'll see where biodiversity and habitat has already been completed. I've answered all 6 questions. The circle is 100% filled and you get that green check mark. So as you complete the questions in each section, that section will populate at the bottom of the list. So your to-do list essentially will start from top to bottom. You are able to go into a section that you've completed and edit any questions. So if I go back into biodiversity and habitat, the habitat quality questions, you can see my previous answers, and then I can switch those around as I'd like, and edit my answers. If you go down and click next, you'll see where I'm then provided a new ranking, and then I can either hit continue or back to activities. So there is that option to go back and edit your information before you submit your assessment as a final review. Once you submit the assessment, the reports tile or tab in the bottom right corner is where you'll find your grower benchmark reports once those are populated. So like I said, as you answer the questions, you get immediate grower feedback based on your practices, but you will also receive a benchmark report that compares you to other growers in your area, like I showed on the PowerPoint earlier. That report is here on your phone, so you can pull that up, or it can be saved as a PDF if you'd like to print it out or have a digital copy where you can email and share it out. If you look up in the top right corner, we actually have our settings icon. So you have your account information. If you click in account, you can see where, of course, there's my name, there's my email address, my phone number is optional, but you have your version. So if you are ever encountering issues with loading, you might want to check the version and you can update it from here. You can also change your user password from this page, log out. You can clear your data. So let's say you are halfway through filling out an assessment and you just decide, no, I don't want to do it anymore. I want to start over. You can absolutely do that. You would come in here, click clear all of my data, and then it would start you back at the beginning. You can also request to delete your account. So with our grower data privacy agreement, the data is the growers. So Syngenta doesn't have access or own the data whatsoever. We can't see your answers. And with that, since the grower owns the data, they have the capacity to do what they want with that data. So with your own reporting, or with your answers, you own that and you can delete it and get rid of it anytime you'd like. We also have the send feedback option, and I mentioned this previously. If you click on send feedback, you can see where we have an enhancement request section. So you can select the category. So whether it is the assessment questions or content, app usage. If you have some better user experience suggestions, definitely send those in. Technical or other. So you'll select your category there. And then, of course, your response or your suggestion. And then you would hit send feedback at the bottom of the screen. That would be sent to our product team for them to review and hopefully put into action. We also have our help option here. So once you open up that help section, you'll see where we have our toll-free number. Since we do have growers in the US and Canada utilizing CropWise sustainability, and that number goes directly to our Syngenta Digital office in Murray, Kentucky, and that support team. You can see the email there, support@syngentadigital.com. So you're able to reach out for assistance at any time. And then, of course, we have our privacy policy terms and conditions. So you can see that and review if you would like to do so. All right. And with that, let's see. Let me go back. I mentioned those reports. So when you do finish the assessment and after you've received the immediate grower feedback, you'll receive the benchmark report. So this is what those benchmark reports will look like. You can see where you have the optimal production, the summary, and of course, other results. So where it's comparing you to other growers in your community. So like I said, it's delivered through the CropWise Sustainability app and can be found on that reports tile. It highlights individual grower performance and compares it to the other growers in your community. And it identifies where the grower is leading in sustainable practices, as well as highlights where the grower can improve their sustainable practices on their operation. All right, and with that, I will turn it over to Sarah to see if any questions have come in.
Thanks, Darla. That was a great demo of the app. Appreciate it. I do have a couple questions already. The first,
okay.
Does the app work with any other CropWise accounts?
Okay, that's a great question. So right now, currently, users with a CropWise user account will have the ability to log into other tools. So the user information or the login information is the same throughout all of the CropWise tools. The app itself doesn't connect to any of our other CropWise tools. But upcoming, there will be the CropWise sustainability website that will be integrated with all of those. So they'll flow seamlessly and talk to each other. So currently the app is standalone, but the website that's upcoming will communicate with other CropWise tools.
Great. Thanks, Darla. Next question. How long does it take to do the assessment if you were to sit down and do it in one seating?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually did that. I sat down, answered all of the questions, and it took me roughly 30 to 45 minutes. Of course, that depends on the number of questions that are generated. So I selected potato in the demo, for example, and I had 135 questions. Let's say I selected wheat or rice, then I could get 120 questions or 75 questions. So the questions that are populate are dependent on the crop that you're completing the assessment for. So depending on the crop, it could take 20 minutes, it could take 45 minutes, but no more than 45 minutes if you sit down in one session to do that. But like I said, you definitely don't have to complete the assessment all in one go. You can answer a few questions while you're waiting for a table at dinner at a restaurant, or you can do 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there the next day. If you hard close out of the app, turn off your phone, you can even delete the app and then reinstall it. And all of your assessment questions will be saved and your progress won't be affected. So to answer your question, 30 to 45 minutes roughly, if you were to sit down and complete it in one go.
Great. Awesome. Thanks. Next question. What if I am the only person growing this type of crop in my area? Can I still be benchmarked?
Yeah. So if you complete the assessment and you're the only grower growing a particular crop in your area, you will get immediate feedback in the app. So you'll get your individualized grower report. As far as benchmarking, that is comparing your practices to other growers in your area. So although you won't be able to get a benchmark report, you still get that immediate grower feedback and personalized grower report where you can see where you are excelling in sustainable practices as well as the areas you can improve.
Thanks, Darla. Are there any other questions? Feel free to pop them into the chat. We'll give it a couple minutes, Darla.
Okay.
All right. If there are no other questions, feel free to pop it in the chat and we can follow up after the webinar. But I'll hand it back to you, Starla. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Sarah. So to learn more about sustainability or CropWise sustainability or the app, definitely feel free to reach out to your local AgriEdge specialist. You can also go to this website here, the cropwise.com/US/sustainability. That's our marketing page. So everything that I just demoed and went through is available there, and it kind of goes into detail. What is sustainability? Why would I want to complete this assessment and all of that? Of course, you can always go to syngenadigital.com, and we do have resources there. We also have our Syngenta Digital Help Center, and you can see that QR code there. So feel free to scan that and go to our help center or log in. It's just agconnections.zendesk.com. There you can see where we have help articles on all of the CropWise tools, not only sustainability, but we do have CropWise sustainability highlighted there. And then there you have your articles. So if you are a user and you have questions, but you would like to play around with the app and maybe do some research on your own, we do have a step-by-step guide on how to define your operation, select your partner, and then, of course, submit the assessment. So that is an option. But if you don't want to do it on your own, we do have our support specialist here in the Murray office. So there is our number. We also have a toll-free number that is there on our website, and on all of the Help Center articles, they are listed. Our hours are Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and that is Central Time. And then on Friday, we are here from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central. And again, there's that email address. So please feel free to give us a call, to send an email, ask any questions that you might have. That's our job. We're here to support you and help you every step of the way.
Thanks, Darla. If there's no further questions, we just want to thank you for attending today's webinar. We really appreciate your time and engagement, and we will see you next time. Thank you.